Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome back. As you've seen the title of the video, we're gonna change the Rampage from a gas to an electric. Now, I tried to start it and run it. I do have videos that are already running, just to show you how slow and underpowered these things are. But I tried to start it, it wouldn't start. I was having problems with this. I actually have another Rampage that I bought brand new, that I put an 8-horse engine in it. These stock are like 3.5 horse. And it woke it up really good. But then I was going to convert that one to electric, so I sold the engine. And then I ended up finding this on Marketplace for like 350 bucks. So I was like, well, I'll just keep my new one all intact and then swap this. Well, when I got this, it was cutting in and out. I think it had something to do with the kill switch. But it was sitting in the garage. It was getting fuel. It was getting good spark. But it just didn't want to start. So I was just going to do a little run and maybe blow it up afterwards. But I couldn't get it to start. I even put a drill on it to turn it over. So I think there was a problem with the coil just not giving enough spark. And I put it in front of the torpedo heater and everything, and it just, even being warm, it did not want to run. So anyways, so I basically got everything set up in this. And now I just want to show you how to do it. So the first thing you're going to want to do is just strip all the gas stuff off, strip both your servos off. Basically, bare chassis besides the front and back. Everything else is gone. And I'll walk you through how to convert this to electric. I don't have everything for it today. I got to pick up something, some more stuff up at the hobby shop and make a bracket. But for the most part, this will be part one. And then once I get the other parts, I'll put it all together and we'll take it for a run. So the first thing I did is I bought, and I've seen this online, that they used a LOSI DBL or DB, a LOSI DBXLE center diff. Now when I bought this a long time ago, because I've been wanting to do this for a while and I just haven't got to it. I purchased this center diff, and as you can see, it is huge. So this one was for the gas one. I thought I ordered the electric one, but I ordered the gas one. I will put the part numbers on here. This is actually a LOSI DBXLE 2.0. Now, I think there's a difference between the 2.0 and the 1.0 as far as the thickness and the width of these. So when I went to go put these over top, it slid over these cups just fine onto the bearing. And then when I got this differential, it didn't want to slide over here. So I had to just use a Dremel and just hone out the hole a little bit. So the first thing you're going to want to do, so I would probably check and see if the Losi DBXL-E 1.0 has the same, because when I mic'd that out, it was like 20 thousandths difference. See if it actually is the same or not. If it's 20 thousandths difference in the cups, get that one, because then you won't have to ream this out. But this is just Interg, I think that's how you say it, DBXL-E mount. So you got to buy the mount kit and then the top, I believe, separate. I'll go through the part numbers. Actually, I think I have most of the part numbers right here. So the top brace is C8858 blue. And then the motor mount and the center diff, both sides, are C2997 blue. If I remember, I'll put that in the description. So what I did at first is, the way it was set up is they had the small drive shaft in and the long one in the rear. Well, when I went to set it up like that, there's no way the 800 kV motor is going to fit in there. So that's what we're putting in, an 800 kV max 5 system. That's actually out of the Felony, because I'm going to do more of a racing setup, probably use Castle to go a little faster in the Felony. So all I did was I took this and I put that there, put that here, and then use this for the rear. Now, the these are the stock Redcat Rampage axles. There's not much play in and out, so this is where I kind of messed up. Normally what I do is I go to a hobby shop if I don't have the pattern, and I get the pattern. That way I can just transfer this on a thin piece of aluminum, mount this on the piece of aluminum, and then put the piece of aluminum on here, and then just use whatever existing holes is to mount that plate on it. But it wasn't going to work as well as I thought this time. So once you get everything bolted up, basically just your sides, your differential, your top plate, I think I used M5 by 12, I think, in the top. So I kind of messed up on this part. These holes right here were meant for these. And then when I drilled them, it was sitting crooked. So I was like, you know what? I can either shave these off, or I'll just drill the holes out big and I'll have all of adjustment. The reason why you need that adjustment, if you don't get it perfect, is because, like I said, these drive shafts have not much play in and out. So you could probably sand some of these ends off just a tiny bit, maybe like 2 or 3 thousandths, just to get a tiny bit of play in there. So the first thing I did is I drilled these holes, which I messed up. So I drilled them just huge, just so I have adjustment. And then I drilled my slot. I marked my slot out and drilled it. So when I set that in place, I don't know if this is going to be really loud or not. I feel like I'm yelling, but I set that in place, and then what I did is I just took a pencil and marked around here. And marked around all here. So after I got the mark down and the pencil, this slot right here is actually for another motor. So when you loosen this top, you also loosen this bottom, and that's for your motor, for your gear mesh. So you're gonna need that to be able to move the bolt head in there to slot. So what I did is I used a caliper, and based on the spot where the bolt hole is to this side, I just basically mic'd it out, or calipered it out. I don't know how you would say that. Got it to the middle, set it, and then just went on the edge of the line and then made the score on this part, this part, this part, this part, and then this part. So basically every single hole you're going to figure out where it is and then just tighten it up. You could probably do it a different way. I found this to be easier because then I could just scrape it and I had my line. And then for this one, because I couldn't measure off this edge very well, actually maybe I did. I don't think I did. I think I measured off, I think I measured center to center. And then I just took it from this center mark when it wasn't a hole and I just scored it. And then that will get your diff. Just make sure when you put all this together, which we're gonna do, we're gonna put it all together, exactly how I did it, so you guys can kind of see how, it's not that hard. It's, the hardest part is mounting the center diff. Everything else is, it's not hard at all. So, M5 by 16s I believe I use. For the 4 in here, I gotta get a smaller one, because in this plate right here, if you use a 16, it's gonna hit this plate and you're gonna loosen these like I did and wondered why I couldn't adjust anything. So that's gotta be a smaller screw in there. I'll get these in and then I'll kind of flip it over just to show you. And I didn't have my countersink, so I just used a couple different drill bits, and that's why the holes don't look that great. But they work, so I'm not too concerned about it. Also, I don't know if you guys are watching the RC and the car stuff, but as far as the car stuff goes, I do have the wrong Allen, but I do have the, so I got a fuel cell in for the Caprice. I got the engine, the blower motor torn down, well not torn down, but I took the intake off, I took the Zoomy headers off. And I got it kind of sanded and scraped down, ready for paint. I am gonna paint it yellow, so I'm gonna leave it yellow. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it for sure, but I think it'll look good with the polished valve covers, and we'll see how it looks. Because it can always be changed. Like I said, I'm gonna leave that bolt out for now. So that's your center diff. If you get that far, it might take a little while. It took a few hours for me to get this whole thing done, but it was a while on that. So, what I was gonna say about the Caprice is I got the fuel cell, I got all the braided hose, I got a new fuel regulator, I got the carb gaskets coming for the rebuild. Okay, so the next thing I did was focused on, so this is the stock, so there's dual steering servos in here. I'm only going to use one because I got a big Savox one that's going to be able to do it by itself just fine. So that's the stock one. That would have worked, but this won't, the Savox won't fit. It's way off. And even if I thought maybe I'll just bolt it to here and then extend this bracket, make another top bracket, but these holes don't line up at all. So the Savox SW024 or 0240 MG is what I'm using. I actually bought this off a buddy at work when he bought it and it was too big for what he was going to use it for. So this is just the 5th scale Creighton or Outcast servo box, the one that's integrated with the receiver box. So what I did is I just cut the receiver box down, cut it all the way around. That way it left my mounting holes in here. Now for this, the old steering horn wouldn't work. So this is the steering, the factory steering shaft. So that works. In this kit, it came with I can't think of the name. Came with this, the steering horn. So I put it in here, basically just got it where I felt was the best way, and I just drilled the same hole as this one. So this is just a different tooth than this, so it wouldn't work. So after that, I got this all in place, and it's got 4 holes. So I just put this in here like this, put it down, snap this in place, and then I centered it, or I basically made it flush with the drive shaft, just so when you look down at it, it's got something to look straight on. It's probably not straight inside the chassis, but it's straight to the drive shaft, which is almost straight, but it all looks good now. So once I got all this figured out, I took this out and I just used a little drill bit, and I just drilled, make a mark. Actually, I drilled these 3 first because this one's kind of inside this part. So what I did is I drilled it, bolted it all up, and then went back and used a drill to make the mark just so it wouldn't move on me. So these, I just got some stainless bolts on this. I hope you guys had a good Christmas and New Year's. I wanted to get a couple more videos out, or at least one more video out in the garage of the Capri stuff, but I didn't have everything that I wanted, and just showing you guys sanding of the engine and taking that apart to paint and taping it and stuff wasn't really exciting. So I did tape a couple, or record a couple shorts, one with the burnout of the Felony and one with the burnout of the Corvette. So if you haven't, check those out. Please subscribe. If you actually look on the corner of your phone on the light, if you actually turn it sideways, and on the right hand side there should be a subscribe button. If you can hit that, I would really appreciate it. Hopefully 2023 we're going to have a lot more projects. We're definitely going to get the Caprice going. That is, you know, the biggest thing to focus on, because that's just going to be awesome. So put this in here. These I think are just M4 by 12 or 16. Then again, once you mark your holes, and then just countersink them so you won't have no issues. Flip this over again. But I had this table just absolutely covered with aluminum shavings. I put like a little pan under here to catch most of them, but Wasn't supposed to do that. But yeah, getting this differential in is definitely not fun. Well, this is servo, but you know what I'm saying. The differential was definitely the worst part of this whole thing. And also, yes, I do have an impact, but don't really want to strip out the plastic stuff. Sometimes I just ramrod it in and she starts spinning and it's not good. But these are really nice trucks. I haven't beat on one long enough to test and see how the differentials hold up, but they're actual 5th scale differentials. I mean, they're huge. So with the 800 kV Max 5 setup, we're definitely going to test all that. Oh, what I was saying before is my other one I bought an 8 horse for. And while I was really peppy, I mean, it would take the X-Max off the line easily. It was really powerful, but it ran out of gear quick, and they make 2-speed transmissions for them. But after looking at people that just busted them, broke the gears on them, there's just not really any reliable parts for these vehicles. They used to make a belt drive, and I don't know what happened to that belt drive. I think the person just stopped manufacturing them. Some person was going to start making another one, and I haven't heard anything for that yet. Oh, is that right? Oh, this is hard. There we go. So, all right, so once I got the servo on, I went to battery trays. Now I still got to get the Velcro for these. But these are just Techno TKR40006X battery trays. And what I did is I just basically set them in here and just made sure that the batteries would fit. Now the batteries won't fit in this way in these trays, but they'll fit sideways, which is perfect. So I'm gonna do that. And then this one I can turn around this way, and enough clearance, nothing's gonna hit, and I can get all the Velcro inside here around. So we'll mount these up real quick. Keep grabbing. Wrong. So again, on these, what I did is I just kept them a little bit away from here. Basically centered up these little nubs right here to the side of the chassis. And just did the same thing, drill, drill, drill. Now, you couldn't drill this one unless you took the diff back out. So I was like, well, I ain't gonna take the diff back out. So, obviously, you just take this, and the 3 that you did put on, just put it like that, and then drill your last hole. Get these in place. This is actually, I was gonna screw it from the bottom. It hasn't even been a long day, but you know. But this thing should be quite torquey with this setup. The thing that I didn't realize, and I guess I never paid attention to the low-seas, But like the biggest gear, once I put the motor on, I'll show you. But normally you can run, you know, if you get the X Max, you run, and I can change the spur gear on it. But I figured there'd be a more adjustment, but it looks like there's only adjustment for like an 18 tooth pinion. So I was gonna run, I don't even know if I bought one. I thought I bought a pinion for it, and I was gonna run a what do you call it? I was gonna run like a 30 tooth or like a 25, probably 30, you know, being that this spur's so big. And I know it won't fit it because it's so close to the shaft already that it makes no sense. I thought they would have more. I mean, I guess it is factory setup, so I'll stand up and see what I'm doing. So yeah, you can get these things pretty cheap. Don't buy them new. The engines are $100 maybe. I don't know. They're not that expensive at all. So if you find one you want it in good condition, you don't want the chassis bent, you don't want shocks blown out, anything like that. You know, you can always buy another body and another engine. But now that I think they're like $900. So if you get one off Marketplace, like I got this one, I think I got this one for $300, or maybe it was $350. I'm not entirely sure. It was either $300 or $350, but it was fine. I ran it around. I'll actually I'm gonna put a video in the front of this of it running around just to show you how much power it doesn't have. And then I'll put a video of the 8-horse I had in my other one, and you can see the difference in there. And then we're gonna test this, and we're gonna see probably a way bigger difference. So after getting the trays in, and also you want to make sure that your battery, everything work, but I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. So tomorrow at the hobby shop, I need to get, what did I say? I don't even remember now. Oh, spur gear. Need to get a spur gear as I'm holding the motor. I forget what I'm going to say. So I need to get a spur gear, but I also need to get a receiver box, because the reason I cut this one off of the Arma one is there was obviously no room. So I put the motor, everything in place. But yeah, this is so weird how little of clearance this has. I mean, this video would have been so long if I would have drilled the holes and did the whole process, because I had to go out to my garage, use a Dremel on a lot of things, and actually I just put these shelves in and the RCs on them. That's the Outcast over there. I don't know if you can see it. Probably not, maybe. Anyways, I got an Outcast that is fresh out of the box. I still got to do something with that. 8S version. EXB. Got it. It was on the Horizon hobby sale. I really didn't need it, but actually I got probably 10 I don't need, but still cool to have. All right, so the motor's in, and it is adjusted all the way back. So I will show you the room that there's not much for any big spur gear. So we're gonna see what the biggest spur gear we can put on here. I'm not probably gonna mess with changing the spur gear. I already spent like $130 just on this differential itself. I think this Savox, I think I bought it off my buddy for either 100 or These I think were like 60 for the pair, or for the top and the sides. They had a really good deal going on. I got these actually last year when they had the deal. I think it was $299 for the 800 kV Max 5 setup, which they're normally $379 or something like that. So, anyways, this is about as far as I got, but obviously that's as far as I really need to go besides getting the spur gear on. And then what I'm going to do with the ESC is I have a plate that I already drilled the holes for, and then I'm going to use these two top holes, and I'm just going to take these out and put this right here. I just got to cut this down. The plate's going to sit here. This is going to mount here. And then these will fit just fine right here. The batteries will still fit. And then I'll just probably, you know what, I might make the plate a little longer so I can put this just right on the plate. So I'll have to make the adjustments to that. Or either that or I'll just stick it right to it, or I'll find a place for it. And then what I want to do with the receiver box is I want to see if I can find a small enough receiver box to where I can put it right here. I don't know how these cameras are going to look. I got two of them on there. But I'm going to try to put a little one right here. Just enough for the receiver and the cords going to it. And that's basically it. And then there's the roll cage that comes up here. So basically just strip down your Rampage. Take everything off it. Get yourself an Outcast, Creighton, 5th scale, servo mount, but you want to get the one that's made for the 5th scale because there's two different versions. The spectrum that comes with those are smaller. And then get your Savox, or whatever servo you want. This is one I had because my friend bought the wrong one, and I just like, I'll buy it off you, I'll use it for something. And then yeah, you would have another servo horn here with the dual servo, but this servo is going to be more powerful than the two Redcat ones. And then yeah, get yourself some battery trays and your Entergy diff mount, your diff, and it's actually it's really easy to get together once you get the holes drilled for this, because it's not, I should have did the pattern thing, but I didn't. It ended up working out just fine. Some of the holes are a little meh. But that's all we got to do. I wanted to get a video just to show like what it is, and then part 2 I'll have the mount for this. I'll have the spur gear. I know I'm gonna, the receiver box. I'm gonna have to write this down because I'm gonna forget it. I'll go to the hobby shop and just draw a blank, and that's what I normally do. So we get this all together, and then we're gonna test it. I was gonna use just a Redcat receiver, but it's the 8 battery one, so I don't wanna have to keep putting 8 batteries in these things. So what I'm gonna do is I got another Dumbo RC one that I returned that was broke, and I got it back, so I'm gonna use that in here, and then we should be good. I was thinking this was gonna take a little longer than that, but it definitely would have took a lot longer a longer video, but this way you guys can see. Oh, and these Sky RC fans, they're pretty cheap. They're $20-something, but it seemed like they work very good. So on Amazon. But yeah, I thought it was gonna be a longer video, but I'm glad that I'm able just to show you like this. Just so you kind of get a feel for it, because I'm sure there's guys out there that seen pictures of certain setups. I know Kershaw used to make a brushless setup that they don't make anymore. So for anybody who wants it, you don't have to use an 800 kV motor, but it's probably a good idea to use something in that range. Max 5 with 1100 would work really good too. But probably run a Max 5 instead of a Max 6 and a 5th scale. But anyways, this thing was really, really in good shape when I got it. So if you're going to do a swap like this, and you haven't already bought one and you just want a Rampage, or you got a blown motor and you don't want to put another motor in it, because I'm going to tell you right now, if you get, I bought my 8-horse engine. It was a stroke motor from O'Neill Brothers, OBR engines, and it was an awesome engine. Got the bigger carb and everything for it, but it just, the gearing in this does not make it fun at all. It's fun for a little bit just to take off, but it doesn't go fast. And like I said, the 2-speed transmissions that they sell on eBay and stuff for these are not good quality. So the electric's the way to go, in my opinion. Like I said, I'm going to keep the other one gas because it is fun to mess around with. I got the DDM pipe on that, 8,000 RPM clutch spring, and a couple other things on it. It's still not that fast, but if you want to annoy yourself and run a loud car, it's actually quite wonderful. And just like the Rampage is not, it's fun. The jump's awesome. It's huge, but it definitely needs more power. So OBR does have an engine for Rampage as well. I'm hoping to do that in the spring to my Rampage. If you haven't seen the Rampage video, you can watch it on the channel. But that's it for today. Please like, share, subscribe. Another thing with these, they're 23 millimeter hubs. And I found that out because I wanted to get a pair of belted tires for my other one, which I do have on there now. And I believe it's King hubs, 24 millimeter. That's what like the Creighton and the Outcast and the X-Max are all 24 millimeter. So you want to get the 24 millimeter hubs from King. It's really easy. You pop out you loosen the screw, pop out the pin, pop the new hubs on, and then you can run any other 24 millimeter hex one. These tires are okay. These ones they were fine when I ran them in this one, but the one that I bought brand new, the whole truck just shook everywhere. They were so out of balance. I tried to correct them with putty a little bit, but it was worth buying the hubs. So anyways, they're good trucks so far that I know of. We'll see how they handle this setup. But it should be just a huge difference. So next video we'll have this all done. I'll show you putting it all the way together, and then we will take it out. Probably just hit some jumps on the track and see how fast it goes, and hopefully it works out all right. I think it will. I'm really surprised on the lack of pinion gear that you can put on here, but it's probably just because it's got such a big spur gear. But we're not going to worry about that because we'll put like an 18 tooth on it, and it'll be torquey, it'll still be fast. Anyways, please like, share, subscribe, and we'll be back with part 2 of this one. And then we got another video of the Caprice. We're going to get the engine all painted, and we'll get the old one out that's in the Caprice. We'll get that fixed, but then we'll put the blower motor in it. And then yeah, wait for the blower. We're still waiting for the blower. They said they were backed up to the beginning of this month. I'm just rambling, but they were backed up to January 1st. So hopefully this month, within a week or so, they get it all done. We get it back, and we'll get the fuel cell. We'll get all the fuel line, fuel fittings. I'll show you all that. Once I show the engine all painted and everything, that'll be on a Caprice video. And I'll show you all the parts that I got, because I don't want to explain it and then not be able to see it. So anyways, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and we'll see you next time. We'll take this out and just bash it.